Salutations and welcome back to another video on connections, dynamics, and timeline. Last week we did a video focusing on family as well as status quo, which we will do in this video today. In regards to family, we're going to look into Jack DeCoeur and his cousin. His cousin is in the same sorority as Kaylee, Alpha Phi. Rumors in regards to Jack DeCoeur. There's been a rumor going around since after this massacre that Jack was much older than Kaylee, and it's resurfaced again. We'll look into that to see if that is disinformation. And location. Location in regards to Dutch Bros. Kaylee worked at Dutch Bros in high school, but not in the university. We'll look into the culture of Dutch Bros and see if you believe it's extreme. Like the video I uploaded a few days ago on cults. So we'll see if there's any type of, I don't know if I want to go as far as grooming, but the early connections that Kaylee has had with the Greek system before she was even in college. She's been involved with people on a social level of the Greek system at the University of Idaho. With the locations, we're just going to get into a little overview of the area where Dutch Bros is located in regards to the grub truck, where the corner club is related to in regards to the grub truck, as well as the police department. We'll look into how the police department was within the commerce of Moscow, Idaho, and then it changed its location. Part of it is it possibly just because of the building it was in before and it needed to expand and be more updated, or is it in regards to the location of the university? With that all being said, we're going to look into Kaylee's likes just to get another overview of who she is, what she embraces, and her likes and dislikes, her sense of humor. So let's get started. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your likes, your sharing, your comments. I do enjoy reading those. So let's start with Kaylee's likes. We're going to start as early as 2015, and then we'll end at 2018. Before I had mentioned that we will just go through his cousins and their friends up to they get to college. But with his cousin, I'm going to jump around a little bit just to show you the connection she had before she got into the university. And a little information about his cousin. And you will see, and I will show you how I know it's his cousin. So here we go. 2015. Kaylee writes, on August 25th, 2015, spending my last few days of summer right. Hashtag thanks, Bryce. So she is in a pool. I can understand that. Being someone who lives in the north, we really embrace our warm weather, our nice weather. Spring, summer, fall is where it's at. The winters tend to be long, cold, and dark. Just to look at comments, this one right here, Jack 24 Lawn, where he writes, not even good, which he has a bit of a sense of humor like Kaylee does. And then we have this OIEIEJ 828. This is a good comment. 10. He writes 10 with a fire and a smiley face. His comments can be a little odd at times, and he is definitely making comments throughout her inner circle. Here she has Honor Vasco, October 15th, PNW sunsets with emoji heart eyes. I agree. The sunsets that I've seen that people have posted are magnificent. Kaylee does do a fair amount of sunsets and sunrises in her high school, middle school years. Not so much in her college years she does, but compared to other people, some are pretty extreme that I've seen. They're posting an extreme amount. Here we see a bit of her sense of her humor. October 16th, she says, I spent $7 on this cupcake and it sucked, which I find funny. I would be annoyed too if I spent $7 and it wasn't worth even $7. That's kind of expensive for a cupcake. Here on October 16th, she has a sunrise with the North Star, which is the planet Venus. My happiness, which is her niece. And here in these three, she values her friendships. She writes on the left, wood fire pizza and good friends. T-long makes me a happy human. And lots of love for my keek. So she's out. And as I mentioned with the social media, this generation got thrown into it. So Kaylee is experiencing nature, going out and using social media, which was a big trend during that time. Here she is at a Mac Miller concert. She does definitely go to a lot of shows in her middle school, high school, and college years. I tend to gravitate towards people who have a love of music. Throughout my years growing up, people who don't listen to music, I tend to stay away from. They tend to be a little negative for my nature, but that's just my opinion. Here she writes, it's that time of year when, this is December 3rd, it's 24 chocolate days till Christmas, and it's a Christmas calendar filled with 24 milk chocolates. Never seen that before. On the left, in caps, she writes, I'm so fucking happy. And it's the movie Elf, which is a great movie. And here on the right, she's ice skating with her friends, and it just has some emojis. Here she is drinking a cup of hot cocoa with some toppings. And this, on December 30th, I think my friends get the Greatest Friends Award, and it's a large card with it saying, Merry Christmas to a hot tamale. Please don't snicker at my nerdy card, and just tells them how much they love her with using different types of candies and chocolates, which is very sweet and cute. 2016. She writes, this is actual food that I ate on my cruise, so FWM. Here she's showing her school spirit, her favorite sneakers, ripped jeans and oversized hoodies, which that was a large trend for a while. You'll see different variations. Some are light like hers to extreme. Curls, which what girl of her age does not love curls? Baths make life better. Typical weights pick. So here she is with her girlfriends going and working out, staying fit, not being sedentary, just on their phones. Here on the left, she writes early when rainy day workouts are the best. And then here on the right, on March 5th, she writes, I miss being tan and climbing palm trees in paradise. So this is when the winters start to get to a little bit. On April 1st, April Fools, first time fine brewed, thanks Carly, which is an iced coffee. On April 3rd, she writes, I think we take for granted living in such a beautiful place, which I'm going to say that is a sunrise. And on the left, craving summer. Here she is going to another concert, G-Eazy's Girl, on April 8th. And then on May 17th, always missing boat days with my best friend. Here they are on a boat looking at a sunset on the water. On June 6th, 2 days before her birthday, hot dogs or legs, which I think every girl has done that. And June 8th, her birthday, I'm assuming this is a gift, and it says water from Mount Everest. Sometimes you're on top of the world, stay humble. And then mud from the Dead Sea. Sometimes you've hit a low, stay hopeful. So a very thoughtful gift for Kaylee. And she enjoys it as well. Here's her sense of humor. I'm burnt, but Mojo isn't because he is black. Which, yes, Mojo has more melanin than Kaylee. Here it's a smiley face and says, fuck you, Joey. I'm assuming that is an inside joke. And she's wearing ripped jean shorts. July 31st, another sunset on the boat, enjoying the water. That looks like looks like Maddie to me. And here, by far the cutest packaging I've ever seen, which I have to give it to Instagram. It gave a platform for small businesses to not only just grow their business through advertisement, but also to stay competitive by doing just the little things of making the packaging a different color other than just white, black, mostly white. So that is a positive of Instagram. Here she says, I love my friends. Now we're into 2017. Again, recently I've been wishing I could be with the one who made us all. How peaceful it would be to be with the one who makes the sun rises and sunsets. So here she is enjoying what life has to offer on a very simple level. Here on March 23rd, 2017, I'd be perfectly content with life if someone took me on a different hike every single day. A beautiful view. Gorgeous. Here are 3 different views. The one on the left, you'll see a lot of people post on their socials of this particular hike, which I can definitely understand why. I'm just going to turn this into a fan page for my love for hikes, and then 3 different photos of that. Here I want to say it's another sunrise on July 18th, 2017. And then in August of 2017, the 12th, she writes, I love working at 5 a.m. because I get to see the most beautiful sunrises. So I'm going to assume that this is 2 Dutch bros. Her family did say that she was quite willful, and she was quite ambitious and really hustled. And if you are working in an establishment like Dutch Bros and you're the newbie, you're kind of on the low end of the totem pole, so you're going to have that morning shift unless you are a Nepo of some sorts. And here we are in 2018. And this is September 8th. And she writes the beginning of the end with some school type emojis. I'm going to assume this is a football game with the instruments in the top left. They're in the bleachers. It's that time of year. And this is her senior year, the beginning of the end. So the beginning of her senior year, the end of her high school years. And then she'll be in the beginning of her college years. And this is September 8th, 2018, which goes into 2019. Why am I emphasizing this? Well, because here is Jack at 2018. Next to Kaylee, she's got her arm around him. And some friends that we'll be going through as well. Why is that important? Well, here I have the Spokesman Review, Spokane, Washington. The date on this is March 29th, 2018. So that would be the school year of 2017 to 2018. The year prior to 2018, 2019. And this talks about tennis, which we have heard that he does play. Granted, this is Spokane, not Idaho, but if you played sports in high school, you have your division, you have your sections, your sectionals, your division, and depending on how big your school is, sometimes you have to drive quite a distance in order to play someone within your division, especially if it's small. Personally, we've had to drive an hour to an hour and a half to play another team within our section or within our division. So here it says, Inland Empire 5A. Lake City returns almost everyone from a 15th place finish at state last season. Junior Jack DeCore took 7th at state his freshman year. So there you go. So he is not much older than Kaylee. He is relatively the same age as Kaylee. Graduated high school with her. Went to the university as well. The same university at the same time. So, put that in your pipe. Let's look into Dutch Bros. And we'll also see that within his section that I've done. How they go to homecoming together, how they go to prom together. And then when we look into Bailey, we'll also see that as well. So here is Dutch Bros. This is the Dutch Bros in Coeur d'Alene. And I got the address from one of her posts talking about how the Northwest, 1680 Northwest Boulevard, Coeur d'Alene, and it is one of these coffee stands, which I'm sure are sporadic throughout, depending on how large the area is. This is the one, and there's one in Moscow. Growing up in the Northeast, which I've been told is specific to our area as well as with New England, people I've met from the Midwest don't have this type of stand in their area. For us, it is ice cream, and now it's become ice cream with like grilled foods and fryer foods like hots, hams, French fries, fried mushrooms, that type of thing. Here in the Northeast, that is a seasonal type establishment. I'm not quite sure about Dutch Bros. But what I found interesting is it says here Washington's birthday might affect these hours, which I took this last week. And I said to myself, well, I thought it was President's Day because that's what it said around here. So I looked into it and says, while the name President's Day was proposed for this Monday holiday in 1951, the U.S. government never officially changed the name. Then in the 1980s, thanks to advertising campaigns for holiday sales, the term became popularized and largely accepted. The rationale for President's Day is because to encompass all the presidents, and Lincoln's birthday is on February 12th. But arguably, George Washington, the father of our country, deserves his own day. So in Idaho, they still regard it as Washington Day, Washington's birthday. Where I'm at, it is President's Day. I just found that interesting. And to apply that to today with the current president who is trying to get it to be called the Gulf of America, he has recently been outspoken saying he is not happy with the media for not really pushing that new status quo. And then just looking into why George Washington is considered the first founding father. And I find that interesting because that is what we have seen in the previous video, how the frats and the sororities really look into their founder's day. The founders, the founding father. Also, into regards of last week's video and with psychology of color, I wanted to point this out. It says here, George Washington wore his blue uniform to every session of the Congress. This has often been construed as an ambitious power play. but Washington already commanded several militia companies in Virginia, and because of his military experience in the French and Indian War, had been selected by the Congress to help prepare colonial defenses. He believed the colonies and Great Britain were in a state of war. Why not dress the part? So there you go. Here's an example of wearing a specific color to give out a specific message. He did it purposefully. Sometimes we do it purposefully, and sometimes we do it without knowingly. So I thought that was interesting. And here we go with the blue again with Dutch Bros. Power. So here Kaylee says, get up early, stay up late, change the world. DBKC. I'm assuming that's like a Dutch bro type slogan. We're talking about coffee here. I find that a little excessive, but there's a whole history about coffee and about capitalism, but well, that can be a different video if you like. Let me know in the comments. So this is in 2018. And then just here they are together, just doing a picture all together. And in this next picture, it is October 9th, 2018. And here we have Bailey. And she writes cute. So Bailey is Jack DeCour's cousin, and she's also a member of Alpha Phi. I will show you how she is a freshman at the University of Idaho in 2017. So Bailey is currently in college, and she is interacting with Kaylee on her social media. And this is just from Mel Riggs, the previous picture, just to show you just more of Kaylee being at Dutch Bros. Here she is. And Kaylee writes, so much love for y'all. Here we are in December. Here's her friend, Kiona. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm assuming it's at Dutch Bros just because of the uniforms. And she writes, I love these people. And here we have on August 5th, 2019. This is before she goes to college. She writes, I left my home on Northwest Boulevard today. I'm so incredibly thankful for my time here and the friendships made, but so excited for what's to come next. And then just looking through the comments, I see that Jasmine Kernodal, which is Xana's older sister, comments, you're the cutest. And she posts this a day after the post. Right here, I took notice to this Lamarcus with the crying emoji. And Kaylee responds to him by saying, love you, Mark. Thank you for everything. I'm so excited for what's to come for you, too. And he writes, you're going to be so missed, lady. I hope you stay in touch. You always have family at Dutch. So I'm assuming he could be the owner of the franchise at this particular place, or maybe upper management, which we'll look into, which is why I'm surprised she didn't work at the Dutch Bros that's in Moscow, because I'm sure they're all connected. They're all going to talk. And I'm sure there's variables, but if you've worked in these type of establishments before, if their schedule is full and they had plenty of employees, if they want you to work there, they'll make it work. I'm sure we've all experienced that on the positive and on the negative end, if you've worked in these types of establishments. So here is Mark Essie. He has an Insta, but it's private, so I got his Facebook here. And here is his wife. And they got married in 2022. His wife studied at the University of Oregon, and now lives in Coeur d'Alene. So here's just a little information about these two. I found this article, and it's about Jordan Landing, Utah. So here is just some insight of what the Dutch Bros culture is like. So it says here, "Hi, I'm Corey, and I'm so incredibly stoked and excited to be the newest operator in the Jordan Landing out here in Salt Lake City. I've been a raving fan of Dutch Bros for as long as I can remember. I began my DB journey working for Chris Stewart out in Springfield, Oregon in about 2008. Timeline is fuzzy. I've been in it for a minute. That franchise taught me how to care for people, to build and cultivate relationships, and to leave people better than before you found them. DB Springfield left a lasting impression on what this company is all about. Shout out to Blaine, Drew, and all the OG people I met who now operate, franchise their own shops all over the country. The best mentors. Fast forward, and my now husband and I are living in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, working for Jeff and Brandy Bueller, one of the most influential power couples to ever exist. They taught me the importance of having hard conversations, pushing myself to take risks, and how to balance being an awesome leader while getting it done. I went from barista to assistant to manager to lead mob all in the span of 3 years, and absolutely loved traveling around and making other operator dreams come true. My most favorite lead mob trip was helping out my husband Mark Essie open his dream shop in Salt Lake City. I cannot wait to start this new adventure as an operator right next door to my husband. Mark, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for always being my biggest hype man, and for your unwavering support in literally everything. The hard conversations, the tears, the joy, the love. Thank you for believing in me even when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you to our sweet daughter, Bo, and our son, set to arrive in February, for the unconditional love and smiles. I've been on the bench for the last 4 years in Salt Lake City, just waiting for an opportunity, and I am so excited to finally suit up, put me in coach." So I'm going to assume that these two are both lead mobs, and now they've worked up, and now they get to have their own shops in Salt Lake City. So I understand some of that is just the dedication it takes to work in a company, to move up through it, to get to your own, which is definitely an investment, big time. But how much of an investment? And looking into the power couple, this came from a podcast in regards to Dutch Bros. It says here, bonus episode for season 3. I thought season 3 had wrapped, but I had an opportunity to bring in some dynamic business owners, and I am just not willing to wait 2 months to put this out. Jeff and Brandy Bueller came in, and we had an amazing conversation about some important things. Their story is fascinating. These two started dating while they were managing Dutch Bros locations in Oregon. 6 weeks after they started dating, the founder of Dutch Bros, Travis Boersma, asked them to move over 500 miles together to run stands in another state. How's that for a 4th date? They took the challenge head on, and in 2013, they got married and became business owners. So here they are. And it says, we talk a lot about the culture. Dutch Bros culture is borderline legendary, and I am always fascinated by how it got there and how it has sustained. We discuss developing employees into better people, not just better at their job, but better human beings. I wanted to know what it's like to work with the population known as millennials. A lot has been written about this generation, and I don't think there is a better authority to ask than the owners of Dutch Bro. So this is coffee, a coffee stand. I guess you really have to hype it up to make it work, but is there a line? Is it overzealous? Is what I'm saying. Like, in order to be a part of this type of franchise, like, what type of commitment do you have to take in order to move up through the ranks to get your own franchise? me personally, I liked when I clock out, I'm done. Like, don't reach me afterwards, after hours. That no bueno. When I'm in, I'm in. When I clock in, I am in. And when I clock out, I need direct out. And I work in the medical field. So that's life or death. The way this is talked about, the culture of their company, Dutch Bros, for serving coffee is way extreme than what I'm used to hearing about being in a company of some sorts. In my opinion, let me know in the comments. So when Jasmine had commented on I hope I went through that to show where she commented. Let's go through that real quick. Oh, I did. Jasmine, yeah, I already did. Just making sure. So I wanted to know if Jasmine actually worked at Dutch Bros as well, maybe in the Post Falls area. So here I see Mark Essie, we just talked about, and right here it does look a lot like Jasmine. On her socials, though, she has no post about Dutch Bros. So maybe she could be someone like me who keeps things separate. But I just want to point out here how Xana says, normally they aren't good ones, which someone was talking about how those pictures are so good. And Xana there, normally they're not. So I thought that was funny. So here is the Dutch Bros in Moscow at 324 North Main Street, an area of downtown Moscow where there's a lot of commerce. So here is where Dutch Bros is. It's a mile from where the grub truck would be on the same road. Just to get an overview of the community, the close, tight-knit community. How do I know that was the address? Well, here it is written on MPD, talking about the case right there. So here is the Corner Club to the Grub Chuck area. And on Google, it says it takes 7 minutes to walk, which is not a bad trek at all. As I was looking at this, I wanted to know, there is video out there of them walking and you can hear them talking. What type of establishments would it be that would have that type of camera work going on at that time of night? So here, if they take this route, and each of these routes, there's 3 different ones, they're all 7 minutes. So right here is the City Hall. It could be a possibility. You have real estate. You have a restaurant here. And this is the Moscow Police Department right here. So it could have been right around this area. And over here, just to show the commerce, here's Wells Fargo Bank. You have some churches and restaurants, athletic club. So this is a good location for a police department to be when it is in regards to businesses surrounding. Okay, and then here is where the grub truck is. So the police department moved from this area, South Main Street, down through Route 95, Highway 95, which is part of the affidavit that Brett Payne had wrote about. Here is the Grove. So it's 3 minutes away. It's 1 mile, 3 minutes away per driving. Here is Sigma Chi. Here's the University of Idaho. And just to get a clear picture, here is Moscow Police Department. Here's King Road, Queen Road Apartments, Walenta Drive, Taylor Avenue. Okay. To get a more in-depth look, here is the police department. Queen Road Apartments, right here. And then this would be right here, 1122. There's 1112. And here's King Road, 1127 King. Sigma Chi, Alpha Gamma Delta, which is a sorority, fraternity. And then you see that Sigma Chi straight across to 1122. So why did the police department move from downtown over to their new location? Their rationale was for accommodating a growing department and serve the community better. The new facility was designed to improve emergency response times and increase interactions between the police and the public. Explanation: the new facility was larger than the previous facility, which was originally a creamery. The new facility had a spacious training room for the department and other law enforcement agencies. The new facility has a visitor-friendly lobby. It has a temperature-controlled safe room wait for an officer to respond during emergencies. So I guess if you feel unsafe and you're around the area, you can go there and wait and get help from the police. And the new facility's location and design allowed officers to respond to calls more quickly during emergencies. And this happened in 2022, January. So just to show you the quick time for the response time to shorten for the emergencies, not so much for the commerce area, but for the university. So here they are at the old location, and here's a university, and it's a 2-minute drive. Whereas the new location to the university is a 1-minute drive. So over the years, they found the need to move the police department closer to the university to help with response times and for interactions with the public. So we'll just marinate on that. Here I wanted to show you, this is the grub truck. Here's Kaylee. And then here, this person is wearing a sweater that is a Dutch Bro sweater. And if you watch my previous videos, I am not a fan of those two or Joe. So he is someone that worked at Dutch Bros. I'm sure employees talk, even if it's an hour and a half away. You know, word travels fast, especially if it's a small town. People talk. So that completes that section of Dutch Bros. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you felt that was helpful at all. And with the president's birthday, the President's Day, the color, just kind of building on that information. So we'll go ahead, and next is Bailey. Bailey Miller. we'll look into her socials and then Kaylee's socials with Bailey. And for these, I put up all the ones that Kaylee interacted with. All the posts that Bailey did and Kaylee liked are in this section. I did put some tags in just to give you some reference of when she was a freshman at the University of Idaho in the sorority of Alpha Phi, which ends up being the same sorority that Kaylee is in. So here is Bailey Miller. She's followed by both Kaylee and Maddie. And so it'll be interesting to see how much Bailey interacted with Maddie before high school and during the university years. So here Bailey started in 2012. And you see here is a pinned post with Kaylee. And this is her first post. Looks like to do that with all the other ones. I do their first post. And she writes, "Can't wait for you to come home, buddy." And they adopted this baby from a different country who's eating a banana. And she's got 3 sisters. I want to say she is the middle sister, just to give some context. Also, just to give context about the In-N-Out Burger, a lot of people post themselves being at In-N-Out Burger. Here in 2016, she's at the Shed, which is the popular place I was telling you for a music venue. So this is why I did the early ones, just to see the early Bailey. And here we have Maya. Maya ends up being Kaylee's Gigi. And Bailey writes, "Happy birthday to one of my faves. Have fun tonight, but not too much fun because I can't be there to celebrate. Love you lots." So I'm assuming this is, I don't know which birthday. I'm not going to go that far. But I brought this up because of those two together, Alpha Phi sisters. And I also want to point out, look at their bathing suits. They're wearing bikinis. And a lot of people gave Kaylee's Insta and the family, like, how can you let her wear that bathing suit and take pictures like that? When, as you see, that was the time. This is what they did. And if Kaylee has met these sisters before she went to college, she's going to mirror their behavior because she's going to go to the university. I don't know when she decided she was going to, but as we saw earlier, that Steve was a student there in 2018. So she's just doing the trend like all these other girls are. So here you'll see is Maya, which is her grandma. Kimber Nelson, we'll also see her on Bailey's Insta, is Kaylee's Gigi, great-grandma. And this is October 10th of 2019. And here's the Alpha Phi Insta stories, reposting Kimber Nelson's Insta story. And here is Kaylee's big. Kaylee. I also brought this in because here, Maddie likes it. It's November 29th, 2019, and it's Mad Greek, the same restaurant that Maddie and Xana worked at. Here she is with her sister. And now we're getting to the photos that Kaylee likes. So this is the first. Is this the first? No. Oh, wait. Yes, this is the first post that Kaylee likes. And this is in 2017. And here she is going to Travis Scott. And she's in Boise. Just for context, Xana also enjoyed Travis Scott as well. Kaylee liked this post in July 14th of 2017. And Kimber Nelson is one of Kaylee's sorority members, and that is Kaylee's great-grandma. Here, Kaylee's liking this one as well. Here, I'm just putting for context. This is her boyfriend. They do end up getting engaged. It says beta here, and I'm bringing that up because here we are in 2019, Beta Theta Pi, which Jack is a member of, Champagne Breakfast 2019. So it's mirroring. This is his cousin, and we'll get into there. And now they are also going to the University of Idaho, and they are also in the Greek system. Here, Kaylee likes this. Today marks 2 years since Cato came home. I could not imagine life without this little guy. So thankful. And again, please do not reach out to any of these people that we go over here on this channel. So Kaylee likes this photo. She's in Los Angeles. This is March of 2018. And here she writes, okay, I'm ready for another vacay with my biggie now, which Kaylee liked. Love my gals. And here they are just wearing bikinis. These two look like they're wearing the same ones but different bottoms. And here they are in Mexico. Here she is with her boyfriend that Kaylee liked. And here is that photo that I showed you earlier, how everyone, or not everyone, many people have done the same hike and take a picture there. So Bailey says here 10 out of 10 so far, and it's day 1. Probably never leaving. Successful day with their boyfriend. Best trip with my mans. And here Kaylee and Maddie both like it. So this is the first I see of Maddie liking it. Here you see her boyfriend is wearing his letters for Beta. And they both like it. Here they are, it looks like at the watershed. And both Kaylee and Maddie both like it. So here is, there they are at the university. Normally I would stop here like I did with the other ones, but I just want to show for context. So much love for this girl. And here is Maya. Cuties. And Kaylee said, I love you. And both have liked it. Here Kaylee likes this photo of her and her boyfriend. So let me just kind of bounce around so we don't go too far into at the university. So I just want to show. Okay, so here is Bailey with Jack. And she says a couple of my faves. And then you see Kaylee here saying couple of mine too. And this is Adam. Adam is, from what we've been told, was roommates with Jack. Adam worked at the Corner Club. We see photos of him there the same night that Maddie and Kaylee were, but he was not working that night. And Adam writes fam. And Jack responds with 3 hearts. So let's go further to show that they're cousins. So here she writes the big kid table. And here Kate, which is his sister, puts 2 hearts. So the big kid table, I'm sure you're aware, or if you're not, that is in regards to Thanksgiving. You have all the cousins in the family, the kids all sit at the kid table, and then the family, the grown-ups, sit at the other table. So here they all are together, quotes, big kid table. So here is Kate, Jack's sister, and I want to say that's his other sister, Macy. So quickly go through just to show more of Jack. So here we see Jack, and this is September 28th, 2024. And here Kate DeCoeur says, "Whoa, my cousins are cool." And there's Jack. And here he is with Bailey. Here they're at Mexico Part 2. And here's Jack. Okay. So let's go into the tag just to show. So this is her first tagged photo, which is in 2013, around the same time what her first posts were. And so here, Xana liked this photo. This is back in 2014. And Bailey is tagged in this post, and it's Allie Crane. And then we see this as well, Freedom Byers too. So it'll be interesting to see how many, or if any, that Bailey has interacted with Xana or Maddie. Donuts, I mean, I put that in my other video, just the amount of donuts that they talk about within this group of Idaho and the university and the people surrounding. Find friends that feed you donuts. They also mentioned it also on the grub truck, but here is Alpha Phi, always overeating. Wink. And here she is with Kimber, Kaylee's Gigi, and this is in 2017. Last day with Bay was one well spent. And here Kimber writes, and Bailey is tagged, "What are we supposed to blame our bad behavior on now that freshman year is over?" So here they all are together, freshman year, it's 2017. And here they are in 2017 at Lake Coeur d'Alene. And here is Maya, which is Kaylee's grandma. Here they are at the house of Alpha Phi, July of 2017. So this is the beginning of her freshman year, and she's now in the Greek system. And here is Kimber Nelson and Bailey. And it says here, from bid day fun to Vandal Games Day to sisterhoods. We can't wait for the upcoming school year and the excitement it will bring. Who's ready to be back already? And here she is with Kimber Nelson, Kaylee's future Gigi. And here we are with Maya saying you too, Kaylee's future grandma. And I was trying to look at the difference between these homes, if there's any similarities, and they're not. Love my little Greek fam more than life. Love my little Greek fam more than life. And here is Bailey. And I want to say that's her big. We mentioned that earlier. And here, Xana likes it. This is September 17th, 2017. And this is Lexi Jules Fouts. So Xana is seeing this Greek life as well during this time before she's graduating high school. And here, Maya. And this looks like this is inside the home of Alpha Phi. Once we get there with Kaylee, we'll see the similarities. And here is Red Star Coffee, where it looks like at that time in 2018, it looks like Bailey was working there. And Red Star Coffee is mentioned in the affidavit with the camera footage of the white Hyundai Elantra, if I'm recalling correctly. Here she is at Beta Theta Pi. And here she is at Red Star Coffee. Kimber Nelson, who is Kaylee's great-grandma, her Gigi. Here they are at the university. This we'll see several times with different posters hanging. Here is the Queen Road apartments. No, excuse me. The apartments that are closer to Taylor Avenue. Here's another picture of that hike that a lot of people like to take. And here is a post of Alpha Phi with Bailey Miller. And here is a Kimber Nelson, Kaylee's Gigi, and Xana has liked this photo. So for one of these three girls, we'll have to see once we go through Xana. And here we are in 2019 doing their hand signals that we were talking about last video about the reverence of symbolism. This is Alpha Phi. And Palouse Juice. We're going to have to remember this in regards to Kaylee. And here is Kaylee. That is, or Kaylin. And this is Kaylee's big. Future big. Okay. Now we're getting into Kaylee's section of Bailey interacting with Kaylee on her Insta post. So this is the first time I see Bailey interact with Kaylee. Is January 20th, 2018. And she writes pretty. So at this time, Bailey is in college. More than likely home from break. And here she writes in September 5th of 2018, cutie patootie. And here she writes cute on her post about Dutch Bros. And here they are at the university, 2019, Beta Theta Pi. And then we'll stop from there. because there are several more after that. Okay, so that's it. We're at an hour. We covered a lot. We covered what Kaylee's likes were, just to get an overview of who she is and what she likes. She's out in nature. She's hanging with her friends. She appreciates her friendships. She's insightful. We talked about Dutchboro and the culture of Dutch Bros. Let me know what you think about that. Maybe I just have a low tolerance for that type of interaction with the people who I work for, especially when it's in regards to coffee. Maybe it's the reason why you have to have that zealousness in order for the company to work. You really need to be in it to win it type mentality. So maybe it's just not my temperament. But just surprised that Kaylee didn't work there after her high school years, considering that she had, I don't know if he's a mob. I'm going to say he's a mob leader. Kind of just say, you always have, a place to go. You're part of the Dutchboro family. We looked into the locations of Dutchboro in relation to the Moscow community, where the Corner Club is, where the grub truck is, how long of a walk that is from Corner Club to the grub truck, the change of location of the police department to better accommodate the university, even though those murders had happened. I just find it interesting that if it's such a close, tight-knit community, that means you're going to hear everything that goes on, especially if you're in the police department, especially if you're going to the home for a noise complaint when there wasn't really a noise complaint, but you're going to warn them not to have a noise complaint. So it looked like the police had an understanding of who was within that community to know what was going on, to know about the Greek life, to understand. You even hear them talk about in the body cam footage how they hear noise at the Simikai house. They must be having a party. So they're heavily involved within the community. It's interesting that they showed up near 1122 at the night of when the murders occurred, doing undercover work for underage drinking. Looked into the Dutchboro member there. Looked into Jack DeCour and showing that he is a senior as well as Kaylee. He is not much older. And his cousin Bailey is, I want to say at this point, just looking at this, is one of her first connections to the sorority of Alpha Phi. With that being said, do you think sororities in Greek life kind of reach out to high schoolers to kind of get them to come to their homes? Does it start that early? Let me know what you think in the comments. I will go ahead and start preparing for the next video for next week. Let me know what you think. Until next time, let's squeeze the quote.